Here in studio with reaction is the host of War Stories, Fox News Channel's own Colonel Oliver North. By the way, his brand new book out in paperback today.
It is.
Yeah.
And a must-read for Barack Obama, since he's not going to read Barbara Tuchman's Guns of August about how great powers stumble into war. He needs to read this one. It's about a president who forgets about 9/11. Guess what we got coming up just 3 weeks away?
My concern here is, first of all, this has been going on for 30 months, Colonel.
Yeah.
100,000 killed. Over 100,000.
Over 100,000 dead, over 250,000 wounded, 2.3 million people in refugee camps along the Turkish-Syrian border, Turkish-Jordanian border, and now even flowing into Iraq, of all places. It's an unmitigated disaster that's, quite frankly, the consequence of this administration's naive approach that all you need is an election in a country that's never had any democratic traditions, no institutions, and this so-called Arab Spring. Every single country that has experienced this, from Tunisia in the west all the way to Syria in the east, the people are worse off than they were before, and that includes Egypt, the most populous Arab country. It's a disaster.
They have telegraphed that this is going to be brief and limited, and they've even given the locations of the targets. Colonel, what is the point of that?
Well, look, Wall Street Journal today has an op-ed about all the information that's been given out to various people who've asked informed sources, all anonymous. Look, this outfit leaks so bad, they ought to be wearing Pampers. It's the worst example I've ever seen of this kind of prior leak. Now, look, I was sent in 1985, I was sent to explain how we captured the hijackers of the cruise ship Achille Lauro after the fact. I was done anonymously. I did it with Newsweek. By the way, they're gone. Now, but I was sent to do that. But it was after the fact. How did we manage to capture them? What this administration has done is telegraphed every single punch. Obama is famous for shooting from the lip. They've been talking about this now for 4 days. There is no history, Sean, in the use of cruise missiles without follow-up of any success whatsoever.
So
Bill Clinton did it, and they're going to do it again. It won't have any effect.
Is this just a therapeutic bombing so Obama can check off, well, okay, I drew a red line in the sand, and now I have to prove that I'm tough?
Again, shooting from the lip. He's the one that ad-libbed it. He got off prompter, right? And he ad-libbed those words, and now he's going to punish Assad because he violated that red line. Finally, it's been going on for over a year, Sean. Look at this administration.
30 months.
This administration, no, but I'm saying since the red line, since the red line,
right.
the red line comment and the game changer and all that stuff. That was a year ago. And they've since, this is now the third time that we know of that they've used chemical weapons against their own people. This president has not got a strategy. If there's no follow-up, there's not going to be any outcome except greater jeopardy for the American people. That's not what happened when we bombed Gaddafi. He killed Americans, and it shut him down for over a year. Now, this guy has got allies like Russia. He's got allies like Iran. They are capable of doing things to us that could be very injurious, not just Israel.
But I don't see any good possible outcome here, because either Assad stays in power, and he will continue doing what he's doing with no fear of repercussions, or isn't the more likely successor to him the radical Islamists with al-Qaeda ties? Aren't they the strongest opposition force right now?
As it is right now, yes, because what we did is we jobbed it out to Erdogan. The Turkish government, NATO ally, is now being run by the Muslim Brotherhood. And what Erdogan has done is he's allowed the Muslim Brotherhood to take over the so-called Free Syrian Army. There are still opponents who are secularists, who are on our side. They're armed, trained, and fielded. We can help them. It's not going to be over in a minute. The worst possible outcome is you end up with another radical Islamic regime out there, and that's the most likely outcome today, given what this administration's doing.
So in other words, this is going to do more harm than good. Well, is there any possible good outcome here? If the president lobs these missiles, limited, 2 days probably, they've all telegraphed it. Is there any good possible outcome from that?
No, and it's not a strategy. Look, you have to ask yourself if they've justified this based on the fact that the Syrians have and have used chemical weapons. What happens next time when we've learned that the Iranians have a nuclear weapon? Are they going to fire more cruise missiles at Tehran? Well, this is a cycle that has been started by this administration for one purpose only, to give validity to what Barack Obama said before. Cruise missiles are good for one thing, Sean. They're good for setting the pace for shock and awe for a real campaign that's going to continue. Or number two, making a weak president feel powerful. That's what Bill Clinton did. That's what Barack Obama's doing.
Pretty frightening.